Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Dave and Alex here from the Hyperspace Vault. Today we're going to be taking a look at two Black Series figures from the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi line. Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, and Darth Vader. All right, so these are two figures that we've really looked forward to in the 40th anniversary line of the Black Series figures on those iconic Kenner style cards. You can see here how beautiful they are. Just it looks awesome with Darth Vader there with that Return of the Jedi card, and Luke Skywalker with the Jedi Knight card, and it's a scene from Jabba's palace. Really cool. And this will be our first Darth Vader with the removable helmet. All the other Darth Vaders we have in our collection do not have the removable helmet, and this is the first time we've had this figure since the original release of Darth Vader in the blue line of the Black Series, which was like 2014, I think. So we're super excited to finally have a Darth Vader with a fully removable helmet, and this one is much improved over the original one.
I don't know if any of you guys watching have the old one, which I know some of you probably do. We don't, but we do have the Emperor's Wrath version, which is basically the same figure, but it doesn't have the removable helmet and instead has like the electricity helmet. So yeah, that figure is definitely outdated and it was definitely need of a refresh, and now we have it.
Yeah, and then the same goes with Luke Skywalker. This is all new Luke Skywalker. The original release of the Jedi Luke Skywalker was just horrible, I think. We never, and that's another figure we actually never got, and it's from the blue line. But it was like super skinny. It made Luke look really small and skinny. And his arms and legs were just way too small. And then this new figure has the pinless joints. The old one didn't, and the joints just felt real frail. Like you felt like if you bent his leg or his elbow, his arm would just snap in two. And then, of course, the head sculpt and everything was kind of horrible on that figure too. Excited to finally have an all-new Jedi Luke Black Series figure from Return of the Jedi. All right, so you can already see the packaging here. Let's turn the card backs around and let's see what we got on the back. And basically it shows this is like wave 3 of the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back line. And yeah, the other all-new figure that we need to get from this line is R2-D2. It's an all-new R2-D2. All right, so first up, we're going to take a look at Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, and get him unboxed here. You can see there he comes with a lightsaber accessory, and then hidden back behind the blister is an alternate chest piece that doesn't have like the lapel thing open here. So you can swap out his chest pieces and have the solid black look if you want to, which is kind of cool. I like that. Part of me doesn't want to open these up because the card backs, the figures and card backs just look so cool all together on these big cards.
And there's Luke unboxed and posed up. This is a really, really great figure right out of the box. First thing I noticed articulation wise about this figure from the old one is the butterfly joints, which I'm sure, just looking at pictures of that old figure, I'm sure not having butterfly joints on a figure like that, with trying to put them in like the poses, all the different like lightsaber poses, I'm sure that was quite frustrating. And then if you look down at his knee, he also has the new like hidden knee kind of like technique that they use. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. There's no like shiny, like overly shiny parts of his like clothing as Hasbro likes to do in modern figures. And the head sculpt looks pretty good too.
Yeah, that's what stuck out to me, was that the figure itself isn't like really shiny like it normally is. So the finish is like more of a satin, I would say, and looks pretty good. And
he only comes with one accessory, or I guess two, or I guess three if you count his like chest plate things. It's just like little pegs on the shape, so you just put it in, and it fits on there nicely. So I don't think it'll ever pop off when you're trying to pose it.
Yeah, it's pretty seamless too. Like you can't really tell that it actually pops off, just looking at the figure. So that's really nice and a nice touch.
And then his lightsaber is pretty much just the same lightsaber I think we've gotten before with Luke. The blade is like nice and vibrant green, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, and the blade itself is the new thicker style, which I really like. So it has this nice, translucent look to it. Really makes it pop, kind of.
Yeah. But the hilt is just the normal hilt that we've seen for a while. I didn't notice any differences in it, but the paint applications on it are pretty nice.
All right, so let's take a close look at the head sculpt and see how they got the likeness done on Mark Hamill. All right, so now we're in close to the head sculpt, and looks pretty good. The likeness to Mark Hamill is, I can definitely see some Mark Hamill in here, especially from the side view, and the front doesn't look too bad either. They definitely got his chin down, and kind of like his mouth, around his mouth looks pretty good. The hair at first I thought was kind of dark, but I think it's pretty accurate, I think.
Yeah, I think they got the style of it too, like how it goes down the side of his head. Like
yeah. Well, overall, nice. They've had trouble in the past with getting Mark Hamill's likeness down, and I think they did pretty good here. Yeah, the photo real looks really good here. There's no overly shiny areas on the face and stuff. So, yeah, overall, really good head sculpt, I think. I'm really surprised because I thought it was a little bit off when I first saw this in the package, but now that we got it out in hand, it looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to test the lightsaber hilt, and there's a close-up of it, the standard Luke Return of the Jedi lightsaber. And there's a hook on the belt of the figure. We're going to make sure that this hilt can stay on the hook, because the hook seems a little flimsy, and it is a little, either the hole for the lightsaber or the hook is a little bit too big. It looks like it's having trouble getting on there. So it can go on there, but it just barely hangs on there. So I think it'll be okay if you're displaying your figure. I don't think it's going to fall, but if you do any movement at all, it's going to come off probably. All right, next up we're going to do Darth Vader. I'm going to unbox him here, but real quick look at the card again. Awesome card from Return of the Jedi, that iconic scene from the beginning of Return of the Jedi when he arrives at the Death Star 2. All right, so let's get Vader out. All right, so we got Vader fully unboxed here, and we've got his arm back on, or his hand back on, and with the lightsaber out. Looks really cool. The helmet is a big disappointment, actually. It doesn't fit right. It doesn't like lock down together. We've got it pretty close here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but yeah, the face plate does not lock in with like the lower neck plate. Even though there's a groove there, like molded into it, it's just the pieces just don't fit together right. Like it's almost like the face plate is a little too small to get lined up in those grooves. So it doesn't. I mean, basically his helmet, the front piece of his helmet is just laying there, and any least little movement and everything's just going to fall off of it. So it's not like his face is locked in or anything. It would have been nice if they could have came up with something to where that locked in. I don't know.
Yeah, this comes to us as like a huge disappointment, because I kind of had like a little bit of I was kind of a little bit nervous that this was going to happen, but not after they released this guy, the Vintage Collection one, which kind of got that problem down perfectly. If you look at that, it's like perfect with the helmet. And yes, the helmet is removable. So, after they released this one, and I'm like, oh, that the Vintage Collection one is near perfect. There's no way they make that mistake after that with the Black Series. And, well, here we are. So yeah, just like the faceplate just kind of just lays on top of the collar, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah, so like if you try to like push it down, it just comes right back up, and it doesn't like snap down, doesn't lock in. So you always have this gap there right below his. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but there's always this gap here right below his like breather intake there, and where it comes together. So. It's just, it's just really bad. I'm really disappointed. And I wish they could have used, like, maybe they could have used a little small magnet or something to make it lock down together, but or something. But yeah, this is just awful, because the least little movement, this is going to pop up, and then you got this gap here. So maybe I don't know, maybe you can warm this up, the plastic, and maybe kind of reform it to where it lines up into those channels. And I'll show you here. See, he's got channels molded into the neck plate. There, you can see them on both sides. And then there's a groove here on the faceplate. But the mold of the faceplate doesn't match up with the neck mold here. It's almost like the faceplate is too small and it doesn't just line up right. So just a little bit, something off there in either the engineering or the final design, or when they went to mass produce these in the factory in China or Taiwan or wherever they're making these now. Yeah, something just didn't go right. Now the rest of the figure is, we basically have the Obi-Wan Vader here from earlier this year. You got the old legs from the original figure. It's still, they get really loose at the hips after a while. When, even this one's already kind of loose. So when you go to posing, he just wants to do the splits after a while. Then you have the updated Return of the Jedi chest piece. Now this one is just like our Obi-Wan, where the inner robes are coming up out over the shoulders. So we're going to try to tuck those in and make it more screen accurate to Return of the Jedi. They're not supposed to be out over the shoulders. So I don't know what's going on there, but the Obi-Wan Kenobi battle damaged Vader was just like this. And then we have the newer chest armor here from the other Obi-Wan Kenobi Vader, and it's painted with the silver inlets, just like in Return of the Jedi, so it looks really nice. And then we have nice soft goods too. The cape is tailored to this figure perfectly around the shoulders. I love how that just lays there on the shoulders. It's more of kind of like the Obi-Wan look. You can kind of tuck on it, pull on it, and get it more like Return of the Jedi, where it's kind of like laying down like that. So really nice. And then you have the removable hand with the stub. I'm kind of disappointed with this stub. It's just silver paint apps there, as you can see. And there's wires and stuff molded in there, but there's no colors. And I think the original release had blue, red, and different paint apps in there indicating different wires. And there's nothing here but silver, so that's kind of disappointing. We haven't talked about the face sculpt, so let's take the helmet off and let's get in closer to this face.
Now, first thing I really want to address with this Vader, first, like just looking at the head sculpt, is that I think it looks way too like skin like, which I know it sounds weird, but that's like really the only way I can find myself to like explain it. Basically what I'm saying is I feel like the skin should be more like pale. Like if you look at like that scene where his helmet is off in Return of the Jedi, it's like his skin is like really pale. And then here, it just looks like a normal, like, skin color. And if you look at it and, like, kind of, like, ignore the scars, it kind of just looks like Vizari from Killzone or something.
Yeah, the Vintage Collection one, I think, it has better paint apps on the face. The one that we got earlier this year. There you go. You can kind of see how it looks more pale looking. And it's more of darker under the eyes, I believe.
Yeah.
Than the Black Series one. It's not really showing up on camera here, but in person, the Vintage Collection one is a little darker under the eyes, or the color is a little bit, better, I think. Whereas this one's kind of pinkish looking under the eyes.
Yeah. It does look like that Vizari guy from Killzone.
But overall, though, the sculpt is really nice. I don't know if this is a new head sculpt, or if this is just a the reuse of the original one from the Blue Line Black Series, because we don't have that figure to compare directly with this one. So leave us a comment down below in the comments to tell us if this is an all-new head sculpt for this Vader, or if they reused the original one. Also, the scars here, I think there should have been some more pink paint apps in those scars.
Yeah.
And those deep scars. That would have gave it a little more realism too.
As far as the mold goes, though, it looks really realistic. Like the wrinkles and stuff.
Yeah.
Looks really nice. And looks spot on to how it did. I don't remember the actor's name from that scene. But it does look spot on, I think.
And also the head is separate. It's molded like this. The lower collar here is separate. It can move freely, and then you can move the head around. Like I don't know if Vader has the capability of twisting his head around without the neck piece moving, but you can, and it's like on a separate ball joint. So you get all this head articulation, and you can also move the collar around. So that's really nice. All right, so we have both figures here posed up in the classic final confrontation in Return of the Jedi. I mean, it doesn't get any cooler than that, I think. So, Alex, what are your thoughts on the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, this all-new Black Series figure?
I think I have to give him a 10 out of 10. I think the figure's just perfect. There's nothing really holding it back. And I think it's the perfect Jedi Luke that we have gotten from specifically Return of the Jedi. We do have the Mandalorian one, and that one was pretty good too, but he had like the robes on and everything, and this one is like from the final battle of Endor and everything like that, on the Death Star 2. So yeah, the articulation is great, stands up nice, the paint apps are good, the head sculpt is good. It's a very nice figure, and it doesn't really get much better than that. So 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to rate it 5 stars. This is an excellent new Luke figure. I like that it's got all the new modern articulation. It's not shiny like some of the Black Series figures tend to be. So it's excellent for Luke, and maybe one of the better face sculpts that we've gotten in the Black Series of Mark Hamill's, Luke Skywalker likeness. So 5 stars for me. Alex, what about Darth Vader?
I gotta give him a 7 out of 10. This figure really, it's amazing from the feet to basically the neck. That's where basically everything is amazing, and we've basically pretty much seen the figure already with the Obi-Wan Vader. But the head specifically is where the points get deducted, mainly for the helmet situation. That was a big disappointment, and I wasn't expecting that after how they just nailed it with the Vintage Collection version. But I guess Hasbro will have to see their mistake and learn from it. Other than that, the figure is amazing because it's just the Obi-Wan Vader, so it is a very nice figure. And if you haven't gotten that Obi-Wan Vader yet with the helmet like destroyed from the battle, definitely go pick that one up. That one is amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to rate this new Vader 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, it was just a huge disappointment with this helmet because the sculpting on the new helmet pieces look really good, and how they divided the pieces up. Just that faceplate does not fit down on the neck collar properly. And as you can see here, even as we get it posed up here, you can see that gap in the helmet, and it's just a huge disappointment. We were looking forward to this figure. Gosh, we knew that they would have to redo this figure for Return of the Jedi, the 40th anniversary. So we knew this figure was coming for years, even probably before they did Empire Strikes Back in 2020. We knew that we would be getting one. We just had to wait so long. And now that it's finally here, it's kind of a disappointment. But just because of that helmet, the rest of the figure is really cool. Highly recommend this figure, especially if you're an inbox collector and you're not taking this off card. It looks really cool on the blister and card. But if you're an opener like us and you're going to display this with your Return of the Jedi figures, you can finagle with this. Maybe you can heat up that faceplate and get it to fit down properly, but still I don't think there's going to be like anything that locks it down, which is just a huge mistake, because any posing, any movement is just going to jar it loose. But yeah, so I'm going to take a star off for the helmet. So I'm 4 out of 5 stars on this Vader.
Okay, so here is our Return of the Jedi Black Series display shelf, and we can finally do a proper Return of the Jedi confrontation with Luke and Vader set up with these two figures. As you can see here, we have Darth Vader, and this is the Mandalorian Luke Skywalker that we have standing in for now. But now that we have the two new figures, we can do our proper display.
Alright guys, so one final scene here as we're doing our outro. The most iconic scene in cinematic history, the removal of Darth Vader's helmet. Just awesome from Return of the Jedi. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed our video of these two figures, iconic Black Series figures. And give this video a like, that really helps out our channel. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and leave us a comment down below. Tell us what you think of these two figures, the Black Series Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Alex, take us out.
May the Force be with you, always.